Hit the like button.
Jumping pixels in the neon night. A dabble here, a dabble there, it feels so right. And he's got the joystick leading the fight. Level up, laugh till the morning light. Walks on Wednesdays, press start to play. It's a dabble in chaos, a game buffet. Dabble one up, don't delay. Walks on Wednesdays, it's the highlight of the day. Control yourself, no rage quitting here. With Annie's jokes, the lag disappears. Pixelated dreams, 8-bit cheer. Every Wednesday night, the fun is clear. From Mario's pipes to a portal's twist, it's a gaming galaxy you won't wanna miss. Walks on Wednesdays, press start to play. It's a dabble in chaos, a game buffet. Grab a one up, don't delay. Walks on Wednesdays, it's the highlight of the day. Coins are clinking, hearts are sinking, and it's quick wit has us thinking. A double dash, a power sash, warping through worlds in a pixel flash.
Well, welcome back to Annie's Warp Zone, where me, Annie, wraps up what I've been up to this week, or I guess last week as well, since I was off, and what I'm going to be up to upcoming. As usual, I'm joined by Spurg Snake. Hey, how you doing today? Nice.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Good job. Totally pro. You know how I do. Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, we're going to catch up over the last 2 weeks, I think, right?
Yeah, last week I was going to go live after WATP, but you were on BYB and it was late and I didn't feel like it, and I was still in the middle of doing PC-related stuff, which has taken up most of my time. This time, though, it's a different sort of PC stuff. Like, normally, I'm, like, fixing and fucking around and trying to improve my setup to make it work better for the workload I demand it. But, lately, I have been constructing a new computer, basically, from scratch, using new and old components, for my youngest, well, yeah, my youngest brother. So, the idea kind of came to me early this year, like, maybe around Hackmania or earlier than then. I was thinking, like, it would be nice to, you know, get him a gaming computer, because I know he likes gaming, and, as he gets older, you know, he is a little bit more responsible, and, also a bit more interested in stuff like that. He, approached me once or twice trying to get into streaming, but the device that he has is just like a little HP laptop, so it's not necessarily the best, and with the limited capabilities of it, he can't really do what he wants to do. So it didn't really work out for him as well as he had hoped, which is unfortunate because I can tell he has that sort of creative spark and wants to do that kind of thing, which is great. So, the idea came to me that it would be a great gift because, he's gonna be 13 this year, and now he is 13. And, if somebody, when I was 13, had given me a gaming computer, even comparable to the computer I'm giving him, it would have changed everything, because I was still using a shitty hand-me-down laptop just like him, and pushing it as hard as I could, and playing games I shouldn't at 5 FPS, and complaining that, you know, things sucked, and, you know, even then I was still kind of decent at what I did, because, you know, I had a passion for it, and I was really into it. And I can tell that he does too. So, I wanted to just kind of, like, buy a pre-build for him, and just, like, you know, like, give it to him. But then I was like, I don't know, that's a bunch of money, and I don't know, like, if it's a good pre-build, it's good, but it's going to take a while to find one that's good and going to be basically what I want it to be for him. So, I did a bunch of looking around, and I couldn't really find a pre-build in the price range that I wanted to pay for something just as a lump sum payment. It's a lot easier to break it up into payments than it is to just pay like one big chunk. So, I kind of put off on that, and I thought about just giving him my old computer, because my old computer is like, I mean, it's fine. The real problem with my old computer was the graphics card. That thing has since been shoved into a drawer, and I'm probably never going to pull it back out unless I need it for some stupid reason. But, when I upgraded my graphics card, it freed up my other decent, the one I've been streaming with. So I know it can stream and do OBS at the same time with, it struggles because Red Dead's badly optimized, but I can stream Red Dead with that card. So I know it's capable as long as it has a decent CPU. So I put the thing together, and, you know, I was like testing it, and it ran okay, but it was clearly a huge bottleneck, and for the most part, I couldn't do anything about it, because the CPU that's in the other computer is old, and it's unclockable, meaning I can't even get any more speed out of it if I wanted to. So, that was kind of unfortunate. Like, I the biggest upgrade I could do to my CPU, which is what I did, was throw a good cooler on it. Not like a big fancy all-in-one cooler, which is, which would have been a good option. But again, I would have squeezed maybe a tiny little bit of extra performance out of it for heat mitigation, but nothing that really, I'm not actually getting any actual performance out of it. I'm just getting less bottleneck. But I wasn't going to spend $200 on an all-in-one cooler when I could just get like a $40 heat sink with a fan on it, which is exactly what I did. So when I slapped that on there, it ran okay. And that was back before I bought this new computer. So that, like I said, I knew it ran fine. It just wasn't great. And I didn't want to give him something that was not great. I didn't want something that, you know, I was, like I said, I was trying to imagine myself in his shoes. If somebody had given me a computer that was like, oh, wow, that's really awesome and great, thank you so much. And then I started playing with it, and then it was like laggy and couldn't do the things, and it was like barely better than my laptop, I'd be like, that was nice, but like, I really wish it was good, you know?
Yeah, you're doing a little bit better than good, I think. That's what I was trying to say. Like, you're doing better than good, but not totally fantastic. For a 13-year-old that's just starting out, it's perfect. And just like you, if he's taking it serious, he'll push it and get every little drop you can out of performance there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I'm really hoping for. And even if he doesn't, I wanted it to basically shrug at anything he decided to throw at it. So I tested a slew of games that I knew he is into. So I tested Marvel Rivals, which is like it's like an Overwatch, third-person hero shooter, objective-based. There's a bunch of particles going on. It's like 5v5 or 6v6, so there's a bunch of people going on, a lot of computation happening. So it's a good thing to, like, push in, like, if you're in a combat multiplayer situation, it's good to be able to test that situation on that, because there's so many particles going on and so many, like I said, packages being sent and received, not just on network, but internally. So I tested that, and it seemed like it ran fine. And then I tested Fortnite, and it didn't run really good at all. And then I tested Roblox and Minecraft, and both of them ran fine, which I'm like, okay, great. You know, that's what he's going to play. But if he decides, oh, cool, now I have this great computer, and my friends want to play Overwatch or Marvel Rivals, and then starts to play it, and then he gets into an intense situation, and because he is also in a Discord call and is watching or listening to music, you know, his computer starts to get hot, and then he starts lagging and losing fights that he probably shouldn't, but his computer's underperforming. I've been there, and I'm like, okay, well, what can I do to stop that specific thing? So I ran through the checklist of parts that I had, and the big problem is the CPU. So either way, I was going to need to buy a new CPU. And I was looking into it, and CPUs are typically divided into two huge trees. You have Intel and AMD. There are other ones, but nobody ever, who cares? So you have Intel and AMD chips, and each of them have different, like, pins and slots. So you can't put an Intel in an AMD, and you can't put an AMD in an Intel. And even more specifically, there's generations, and each generation has different pin configurations than the last one. Intel has a lot of great features, and not too expensive. They're you know, that you can overclock them for decent speed as long as you get a one that you can overclock. The problem is, if you're going to upgrade and you're going to, like, move and anything like that, because Intel changes their entire layout very often, you might get we'll just say like an i7, which is their 7th generation. Well, not really, but their 7th model generation. And you have an i7, and you're like, okay, cool. I have a motherboard that it already fits into. I just want to get a better motherboard. Oh, problem is, this is an older style chip, and all the new motherboards have the newer style cartridges or slots. So you can't mix and match Intel chips nearly as easily because of how much they change and how many different variations and configurations there are. However, AMD basically only has two. They have AM4 and AM5. So you either get stuff that works with 4 or you get stuff that works with 5, which makes it really easy to not only figure out what you have, but how to upgrade it and how far you can upgrade it in the line. Like, so because obviously he's not rendering videos, and he's not, even if he is streaming, he's not going to put these kind of streams on like I do with all the moving parts and everything like that. So he doesn't need that heavy of a CPU. So I went with the AM4. Because then if he wanted to upgrade it, he can get a much better CPU later on because there's much better AM4s, and he can get a better motherboard. So I'm like, okay, perfect. So I just need to get a motherboard and a CPU, and I basically have all the other components. I have the power, I have all the fans, I have a case, I have RAM that works for it. You know, I have basically everything I need. I just need the motherboard and the CPU. So I started looking around at like shops, Micro Center specifically, and I wasn't happy with the prices. I wasn't necessarily like, that's too much or anything. I just was hoping for something a little bit more affordable. So I decided to go on Facebook Marketplace. In Facebook Marketplace, as long as you do your diligence and know what you're looking for, and don't just go based on pictures. You read the listings and everything like that. You can get some really good things. This desk I got from Marketplace. So I knew that with a little bit of effort, I could hopefully find something decent on there. And lo and behold, like right after I started looking, I found a listing that was listed that same day, only like 4 hours before I started looking. So it was a completely built computer. Basically, it powers on, everything like that, ready to go. The external components on it weren't the greatest. Like the case isn't the best. The fans weren't the fanciest. They didn't have RGB or anything like that. The RAM sticks are ugly. They're just like motherboard green. And the cooler on it was just a stock cooler. And I'm like, okay, so the other components on it aren't great, but I have good components, so that's not an issue. It just is a completely built thing. It comes with a hard drive and everything like that. It actually came with 2 hard drives. Well, actually SSDs. One was a M.2 and one is a SATA flat disk. The 2.5, yeah, the smaller ones. Not quite laptop size, I don't think. But I don't know. I haven't had a new laptop that slots SSDs. So I'm gonna ask for that one. Does your laptop have HDDs or SDDs or SSDs?
One of each. It has an M2 as the main drive, and it has a 2.5 regular HDD.
Okay. I have 2 hard disks, and I don't like them very much. They're compared to an M.2, they're just so fucking slow.
Yeah.
Especially if you're putting like games on them and stuff.
That's been the issue. I just really wanted it for media, but I have to put games there because it's the only massive amount of storage that I have.
Does your computer have any SATA slots left, or do you have to use like USB if you wanted more expansion?
Yeah, USB.
Okay.
Which I do have.
Type A or C?
Terabytes as C.
How many Type Cs do you have available?
2.
Oh, okay. So you could get a hub for it and get an expansion on it, and then get additional expansion to that. But honestly, you said Spurg's voice is a little low. Okay, hold on. Let me fix it on my side.
That was something I was looking into before. Was trying to get another M2 SSD for the laptop, like a 2 TB one. But at that point, at this point, I think I should just get a new machine altogether. So that way, I just need to be done with this laptop. I can use it for something else, specifically like music and other stuff.
Perfect. Okay, good. I'm glad I fixed it pretty easily and quickly. That's a big benefit of my setup being so complicated. If there's an issue, I know exactly where to look to fix it. Unless it's a new issue, and then I freak the fuck out. Because then I have no idea what to do with it. So, speaking of freaking out, it was a really good deal, so I messaged the guy, and I said, hey, you're missing a couple of details. I need to know what the motherboard is, so I can, look it up and see the specifications, what it can and can't do. And I also need to know when I can pick it up, obviously, because I would like it, like, right now. So, after a little bit of messaging back and forth, I went and picked it up. I paid $425 for the fully built computer, and I took that home and I tested that computer, and same with the one that I had rebuilt. It was fine. It just wasn't good. And I was like, meh, okay. So now I have 2 meh computers, and what I can do is now I can combine all the components into one and see where that's at. So that's what I did. I started taking apart my old computer and this new computer, or this new old computer, the one I just bought. I started taking both of them apart. For my old computer, I took the cooler off of it, the nice heat sink. I took the power supply from it because it was more powerful than the one I just bought. And I knew I could just swap them because my old computer is a small computer with low demand, so it doesn't need a bigger power supply. But the one I'm building for my brother is obviously going to be a little bit more demanding. Gaseous Ape says, how much would a great computer cost? I need to get one, or at least a gaming laptop. Great, according to my opinion, I would say probably around $1,800 if you're just going to like buy an all-in-one pre-built. If you're going to piecemeal it, you can probably get it cheaper, especially if you don't pay any labor to have it assembled, and you don't fuck up building anything and have to buy things twice. You can probably get it a little bit cheaper than that, but then you're going to need to do a little bit more research and figure out what components mix together, and then obviously build the whole thing yourself. So it's a matter of how much your time and effort is worth. So the shorter answer of that is, if you were to buy something that I would consider great, like right now, it would probably be like $1,800 for just the computer. No great monitor, no keyboards, mouse, no, assuming you have all that crap. If you just want a computer, yeah, probably $1,800 for something that'll last you for 7 to 10 years, depending on what you do with it and what you demand out of it. If you're rendering videos and stuff like that, then obviously as you get more and more complicated, then you're going to need more and more powerful systems. But if you're just doing, if you're just doing gaming and you want to do gaming and multitasking and you just want to throw streaming on top of it, then something for around $1,800 will handle all of that pretty well, as long as you don't do what I do and push everything to the limit. So, I've had to upgrade a couple of components on mine. I upgraded the RAM, I upgraded the graphics card, I've upgraded the storage, and I've upgraded the power supply because I've upgraded all that other stuff. So, even when I bought my computer back when I did, I mean, like, if you go to streams at the end of last year, that was before I started doing any of the real upgrading on it. So you'll see the improvement isn't huge, but it is noticeable.
I also recommend getting a desktop over a laptop. No matter, because you can always upgrade the desktop much easier than a laptop. It's worth it to have the desktop.
Especially if you put a bit of effort. If you decide to build it yourself and you put a bit of effort into it, you can get a real portable sized build. Like there's like micro builds. if you're not doing a bunch of like expansion and stuff, you can go with like a micro board and get a small case with carrying handles and then just carry your shit with you, especially if you mount everything really tightly in the case and, you know, you aren't throwing it around when you're carrying it, then yeah, I mean, you can make even a portable desktop nowadays. I didn't answer the part about a gaming laptop because I have no clue. I haven't looked at laptops since I had my own desktop. Speaking of that, the build for it went decently well. I started by rebuilding my old PC because that one needed the least amount of effort onto it. So once I stripped the components off that I wanted to, I put the new, weaker power supply into my computer, and I put the new, different, weaker graphics card that I just bought, put that in my computer, and I took the stock cooler from it and I put it back on the computer. So it was just the little heat sink with a fan instead of a nice, like a bigger one. You don't have the space, sadly, for a desktop. Well, like I said, you can build pretty small ones. But yeah. How much for a great gaming gateway computer? Always fond of those dairy cow pattern boxes they would come in. I don't know how to tell you, man. I slapped all the components on there, and with the help of ChatGPT, because I assembled it and then started getting error codes, I couldn't get the thing to boot on. So I used ChatGPT a little bit to help with the areas I didn't know. Thankfully, I'm not that retarded, and I don't just blindly follow what AI says as true. So I was having an issue getting the CPU to read the RAM, so it wasn't being able to boot. And because of that, I didn't know what to do. I tried a whole bunch of different things, just wasn't working. So I asked ChatGPT, and it said, well, you want to start by putting it in this first gray slot. It should be, the first RAM slot. And just start with one stick in that slot. And I said, that's incorrect, because my board clearly says the first slot is this second black slot, because they're coded gray and black on this MSI board I have. And ChatGPT corrected itself, being like, no, you're correct, because MSI occasionally flips the color patterning on that shit. So sometimes the black is the first channel, sometimes it's not, depending on which board configuration, whatever. So because I didn't blindly follow it, I didn't run into a second issue, because I was like, I can read the text on the schematic and print it on the motherboard, and slot 1 is this one. So I'm going to ignore this particular step that you're telling me, ChatGPT.
Yeah, I can't. I tried using ChatGPT like for functional stuff, and it's just, it can't even write notes on book chapters correctly. Like it starts talking about things from other areas of the book. I'm like, what are you doing? That's wrong. I just have to do it by hand now.
Yeah, it's a tool, and it's still not that sharp for specific tasks like that. But either way, it did help me get through my troubleshooting on that, and I got my old computer to get into the BIOS, and all I had to do was get a hard drive for it, and it was good to go, because I took the hard drive that was in it a long time ago, and it's now in my computer. So the only component basically missing on my old computer was a hard drive. And when I was at Micro Center, one of the many times getting components, I just picked one up. So it wasn't that big of a deal. And now my computer is booted and going, and it's actually quite nice because, like I said, my board is a micro board, and the case that I ended up buying from the marketplace offering, that one was a much smaller case, a lot more portable, and more stable. I like the legs better, so it was a better case overall for a smaller build, which is exactly what I need it for. The reason I want the second computer at all is because I'm currently maxed out capacity on monitors. Like, no matter what I do with unless I build another different computer with a whole different situation going on, I'm capped out at monitors, which is unfortunate because I would like more, because I have a problem. But the reason I want it is because if I ever want to cast my computer to the bedroom or the front room over there, then this computer can't do it because I'm already broadcasting to this monitor right here. So the second computer will be perfect for just watching YouTube and maybe playing like a little indie game or something like that, and just casting it to the TV in the other room. So it doesn't need to be that beefy of a system anyway. And the bottleneck on the CPU isn't going to be a big deal because I'm mostly watching YouTube on it. So that thing was done, and I started with the build on my brother's computer now that I had all the components ready to go for it. Catching up on the chat here. Hey now, AI recommends glue on pizza. That can't possibly be a mistake. Mommy saying that she wants her slot slammed, which is totally relatable. Tracy in the chat saying, I asked ChatGPT to show me what my cat would look like as a human, and it was hilarious. Well, you should definitely post that in whatever Discord you're in, because I would like to see that. No room for even a monitor lizard? I don't know what a monitor lizard is. Is that similar to dang lizard? Probably not.
I think dang lizard might be larger, but monitors are pretty big too.
So the second computer build started. I took all the good components. I had them spread out, and I wanted to just test it and see, make sure the components were working, because I had taken everything apart and I wanted to make sure that it was, ready to go. So I did basically a dry build for it. The motherboard was just sitting on my desk. I connected the power supply, I connected the graphics card, and I booted it up, and it had some error lights on the board. So I was like, whatever. I'll fix it when I fix it. I started reassembling more things in the case, so I got all the fans and everything like that, and the motherboard was ready to go in. So I wanted to make sure before I went to get the motherboard in there that I took the old cooler off of it and put in my cooler, because my cooler is better than the one that I bought, in the all-in-one build. So when I went to do that, I followed the instructions, and I went to take the cooler off the board, and the cooler came off, and so did the CPU. The CPU was still thermal pasted to the cooler, and I pulled the whole thing off. The CPU slot on the board is moved over maybe 3 or 4 millimeters, and that locks it into place. But it's not a full lock where you can't pull it out. It's not it's not like a DisplayPort cord where it has that little tooth that you have to push to pull it out. It's not like that. So it kind of just came straight out. I was obviously worried because that wasn't my intention and that was not supposed to happen. So I inspected the CPU by eye, and I also inspected it with my camera using the 10 times or 20 times zoom, whatever option my camera had. And all of the pins seemed perfectly fine. None of them were bent. None of them were had the plating stripped off of them. None of them looked bare or anything like that. There was one that was I don't even want to say it was bent. So if 12 o'clock is perfectly straight, then the pin was bent to 11:56. So it was like bumped,
just ever so slightly.
Yeah. It wasn't perfectly straight, but it was. I wouldn't consider that a bend. You know, it just was warped, diverted, whatever. And I don't know if me pulling the thing out was even made that happen. For all I know, that was already like that. But I was like, well, fuck, that wasn't supposed to happen. I delicately separated the cooler from the CPU in the air, because, you know, that's all I had. I didn't have any leverage, so just getting it twisted and finally pulled them apart. Cleaned off the CPU, cleaned off the cooler, threw the cooler in my drawer of parts because I don't need it anymore. But it's nice to have a stock AMD cooler just in case. And proceeded to clean the slot on the motherboard and inspect it for any damage, and it noticeably was fine. There wasn't. It looked perfectly fine. So I sat the CPU back in it and then proceeded to put the cooler on it. And once that was done, I went to power the thing back up because I wanted to make sure. Does it even turn on anymore? And when I went to power it back on, I got a different error code that I didn't get before. I'm like, that's not good. That's really not good. I looked online and didn't see any immediate solution or good answer. I checked Chat GPT again, and it said, well, hey, you know, try this, try that, try this, try that. And I said, yeah, I tried all that shit. You know, I just tried everything I tried on when I was building my computer, on building my brother's computer that is now not turning on. So it was a big fucking struggle doing that, because now I have all these components, and for all I know, I just broke the 2 pieces that I went on Marketplace to buy, you know? Like I said, it came with a bunch of extra components, which is great, but I bought it for the motherboard and the CPU. That's the whole reason I bought it. I would have just bought a motherboard and the CPU from Micro Center if, you know, I wanted to pay $450. I would have just paid that. Anyway, I obviously was freaking out, so I was like, all right, fuck it. It's still early enough in the morning. I packed everything inside the case and took it to Micro Center. I had booked an appointment, so I was like first in line as soon as they had opened, and I walked straight in, and the guy took me right away. And right after seeing me, he was like, hey, can you tell me what's going on? I was like, do you want the short of it or the long of it? He's like, whatever gets us to the problem faster. I said, so that's short. You could just say short, you know, like that short means quick, you know, whatever. Anyway, so I was like, the thing won't post, which means pre-operational startup test.
Power on self-test.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So it just tests all the major components. It tests your CPU, then your RAM, and then your graphics card if eligible. Otherwise, it'll test the CPU a second time to make sure it's graphic eligible. And then it'll test whether your hard drive is able to go into an operating system. So Linux, Mac, or Windows. If it passes all of that, you will go into the BIOS briefly, and you can enter it, or the computer will boot up like normal. So all of those are part of it posting. It has to do all of those to actually boot. Which also is another acronym. But anyway, once it boots up, then, you know, that's all good. You can do whatever you want with it. But I couldn't even get it into the first step where it's reading that the CPU and the CPU and the RAM are on the motherboard. I know they were because it was working earlier, and they're still seated, so it still should work, but it didn't. So I told him it doesn't post, and he looked at it and was like, do you want me to check this in as a rebuild? I was like, well, no, I just want you to tell me like what the problem is here. You know, like, can you tell me what this error code is? Can you tell me what the issue is? And because I didn't have a built computer. I literally had the motherboard sitting there on the table and the case sitting in the cart and a bunch of just guts sitting around on the thing. He was like, well, I mean, this currently isn't a computer. If you want us to diagnose it, we have to first turn it into a computer / build it, which is a $350 thing, because it's literally not even in the case. You know, you don't even have screws with you, you know? I was like, okay, that's not what the website said. It didn't say it had to be built, but it's fine. It's my fault. I understand. I would say, if I was you, I would also say no. I'd be like, no, I need you to go home and put that in the case and then come bring it to me as a computer, and then we can figure out what's wrong with your computer, not your pile of parts. Okay, that's fine. So while I was there, I did a little bit of thinking because I didn't want to just waste a trip all the way up there, and I decided to get my brother a nice case because I took the case that I just bought off Marketplace and I used that for myself. And my old case, my very first case, is fine. I mean, like there's nothing wrong with this, not damaged or anything like that. It does have stickers and crap on it, but they're not even stickers he wouldn't like. It's got like an Xbox logo sticker. It's got a couple of cat stickers. It's got Bowser on it. It's got Undertale stickers. So it's all shit that he would like anyway. But I didn't want to give him my shitty old case. So I was like, whatever, you know, like if there's a reasonably priced case while I'm here, I'll just pick one up. So I did. I picked him up. I wish I had moved this so you could see it. It's sitting right behind this monitor. Spurksnake has seen it. It's a nice fat white case. It's actually bigger than my case. And on the display at the store, it was like plugged in and like demo assembled for you. And the demo had 4 case fans in it. And I checked the little plaque on the front of it, and it didn't clearly state that it came with 4 fans. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure it's big enough for 6 fans because that's how many I currently have, so I can put that many in the case. And I bought it, checked it out, got it home, and it turns out it did come with those 4 pre-installed case fans, which is fantastic because they're silent, they're big, and they have really good RGB LEDs on them. So I don't personally care on it on my computer. My computer happens to have it, but I don't really care about it. I more care about like RGB and my accessories, like my keyboard and my mouse and stuff that I look at. I don't look in my computer, you know, that's not really what I'm doing. Like maybe when I'm logging off and going to bed for like 2 seconds, you know, before I leave the room. But generally speaking, I don't look in it, so I don't really care about RGB for myself. But I would imagine a 13-year-old would, because that's like what's popular. So it was fortunate that it already did, and the case also has a big LED strip on the bottom right next to the glass. So it already has a bunch of good pre-lighting. Then I installed 3 of the 6 fans that I already had. So now it has a total of bad at math, 7 fans. With room for 3 more. At the bottom of the case, there's room for 3 more smaller size fans. So I'm going to, over the next couple days, run a bunch of benchmarks on it and push it and see how hot it gets and see if it needs the fans. I don't think it does. And that'll be the last upgrade I do besides a little adapter that's coming in, but I'll get there. So I very nicely and very delicately wired everything, like with the most, like, my cable management is already pretty decent, but the cable management on this build is impressive, I will say. The only exception being at the top where the additional case fans are. I could probably wrap them up nicer if I had another extender, but I don't. So they are where they are. And he'll have to deal with it because it's nice as it is. But I got them all in there. I got the motherboard seated. I got everything in there. And I was like, okay, maybe I just fucked up the first time. Didn't have something plugged in. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe I did something wrong. So I double checked all configurations and kept trying to boot it and kept getting the same double error code over and over and over. And it's like, okay, it's in a computer now. It's fully built and it still won't turn on. The case, it is a computer that won't turn on. Now that's a solvable problem. So I took it back up to Micro Center and I dropped it off last Wednesday. And I got it back Monday morning. No, Tuesday. I can't remember. It was either Monday or Tuesday. This past Monday or Tuesday, I got it back from the shop, and the diagnostic report for it was that the motherboard has failed. And that's not, I mean, I could have told you that, you know, like, clearly, based on what I had done to it, something had broken when I had pulled the cooler and the CPU off of it. The problem is, I would like to know what. So if I know specifically, then I can know specifically what to not break next time, you know? The gentleman said, I don't know, it doesn't tell me in the note. And then when I got home, I got a reply from my guy who diagnosed it, and I didn't feel like, because of how long the text was, like, it took 30 hours for him to reply to the text. So I was like, I don't feel like replying or sending another one. Because I was going to ask him, you know, can you tell me what failed on it? The guy that gave me my computer when I took it home told me that it's very hard to diagnose and isolate a motherboard issue. Once it fails, it just kind of fails. It doesn't, it's not like an engine where you can kind of like really just like diagnose what part of it is, because it's just a series of circuits. So, like a short could be the simple answer, is that something got jumped and now it fried something that doesn't matter. The motherboard was dead, and they suggested a motherboard for me that had compatibility with all of the components that I had, so I didn't have to worry about finding another one with enough expansion. And they offered to install it for $100. And that was, again, another $100 that I was going to have to spend on this thing. And the thing has now totaled more than just buying a pre-build. But it wouldn't be quite the gift if I just bought the computer, you know? It would have been a lot easier, but it wouldn't be the same thing. And it's, you know, the thought and effort that goes into a gift, and even if he doesn't know it, anytime I see him using it, I will know that I did that, you know? I can take that pride in it. So, I wanted to go above and beyond on it. And, I didn't feel like paying the $100 on it for the main reason that I had already had it out of my hands for like 4 or 5 days, and I didn't want any more hands-off time with it. So, because I just want this thing done. I just want it to be fucking done so I can put it in the box, wrap all the shit in like wrapping paper, and put it in the closet until December. I want to be done with it because it is taking up way too much of my free time. Even though I'm enjoying it, I would rather go back to playing games, because that's what I bought and built my computer for. So, I came home and I spent last night and this morning rebuilding it. I took a break to hop on with Dylan and Spurg Snake last night for the Rumble exclusive part of Dylan's watch-along show. The beginning was, he doesn't really call it anymore, but it's a TikTok around the clock, where he takes screen captures of stuff on TikTok and comments on it, and shows people the wackiness and also the horniness that's on TikTok. having different people on there to comment on it. Snake was on the episode, and I would have hopped on at the beginning, but I was still in the process of doing some things, and I was so close to getting the thing to I wanted to put everything together to press the power button to tell me whether I had to go to the store in the morning again or not. You know, that's what I really wanted to do. And I got it to like almost where I was about to hit the power button. I was like, all right, I need a break now. And I came over to watch the show, and I hopped on for the Rumble exclusive part where we watched Chris Elliott's, what's the name of that show?
Get a Life.
Get a Life?
Yes.
Okay, so we were watching that, and I missed apparently a critical part of it. Since when does he live with this landlord guy?
That was the transition between the end of season 1 and the premiere of season 2. That was you caught the second episode of season 2.
So, could you answer that in like real life time? When was that? Last week? The week before?
Yes, last week.
Oh, okay.
The week before was Halloween week. That was double Tales from the Crypt.
Why does he live with this guy now?
So Chris is like 31, and he decided that it was time for him to move out and get his own place. So he did that. He went to the wrong address. And the guy that he currently lives with yelled at him that he was at the wrong address. And then before Chris could leave, he offered him, oh, I have a room for rent. And he showed him the garage, and Chris was excited about moving in the garage. And he regretted it immediately and then tried to move back home. And it turns out his dad filled his old room with cement.
Didn't convert it, didn't do anything with it, just completely said, map, we don't have, we never had a room there.
Chris went back home. He's like, you tried to open the door, and it was just a solid gray cement wall. So he was not getting back home. He's not.
That's a really good gag.
I laughed my ass off. It's a funny show. Real quick side note, I looked up his dad, who is actually in the show with him, that we saw his parents sitting at the table every morning when we were watching. That is his real life dad. His name is Bob Elliott. He's one half of Bob and Ray. And I looked up the old radio show, and it is just about as silly as this is.
I really like the dad character a lot. He reminds me of Red Foreman, but like less of a jackass and more of a smarmy type.
Definitely smarmy.
I like it a lot. And the more as Chris as a character grows and the writing on him expands, you can tell that the reason he's such a cocksucker is because of his fucking dad. Like, when he just says like out of pocket rude ass shit, it's because that's just what his dad says, just calmly, naturally, just like, oh, whatever, you know. I wasn't being rude. Really, I was just saying what I was thinking. They're great characters. And then we closed out with Tales from the Crypt, which was a episode about a guy who wanted to fake his life insurance policy and then did successfully, and then was duped because his wife was like, oh, you know, you escaped the country and I'll be there soon. And then she never came. And then when he came back, they framed his own murder on himself, which was the like sort of twist on it.
Yes, and remember, he got plastic surgery. So he looked different, and they pretended, everybody acted like they couldn't recognize him.
Thank you for joining the, was that a link to the call? Yes. I was in the other room at the time because nobody had joined. So, if you do click the link that's pinned in the chat, you can join right now and be, on the show if you want to be a caller. I don't take like phone calls like Tukey does currently, but I do Discord joins. So whenever the link is pinned, it'll join you straight into the call. The link in the description joins you in the Discord as like a member. So that's the difference between the pin link and the description link. If you caught the very beginning, this banner popped up right here, which says it. Join the Discord, link pinned in the chat, and hop in the arcade voice channel if you want to watch in real time and be a caller during the stream. I'm not actually broadcasting to it currently because of the way I have my virtual cam set up. If I was, I would only be broadcasting this frame here instead of like the whole screen. But either way.
Yeah, you'd be missing that. That's like a L shape.
Mm-hmm. Gash is saying, what the hell would I do with a monitor lizard? Feed it pizza crust? Ridiculous. I'll post it in your Discord, Annie, once I find it. Well, thank you for posting the link, Spurg Snake. Oh, it does go to the VC, LOL. Yes, it did.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I was like, whoa.
Yes, there's 2 different Discord links that I throw out. That one, the one that's pinned, also does like vaporize and expire after the show. So it won't be usable, and it's only accepts like 5 people. I really like the Discord link customization. You can make them like self-destructive. They're pretty cool like that. Back to the story though. So after the show, I went back to it and got everything reassembled in the case and went all out with the cable management. I had screwed the motherboard in there and then tried to get the power cables for the case fans on the motherboard, but the way it was sitting, I would have to go like around it, and the channels on the back are like in the center, like a spine, and I wanted everything in the spine as much as I could instead of like on the outside external parts of it. So I unscrewed the motherboard again and now have them underneath the motherboard, like wrapping around it, which isn't technically part of the like intended wire management method, but it looks really good and it's super low profile. I will be posting pictures of it later in my Discord, so if you're in there, you can check out the pictures of pride, because I am proud of this fucking thing now that it's done. But yeah, I screwed everything in, got everything plugged in, got everything really nice and snug. There was a tangent on this whole thing that really slowed me down, which was I tried to install the top fans to make extra cooling because I had them, and, you know, whatever. The problem is the fans that I bought, the cables on them are so short that whenever daisy chained, which is the intended use of them, the end cord was not long enough to actually make contact with the motherboard, so I couldn't plug in the fans unless I flipped them inside out, and then it defeats the purpose because if you don't have any liquid cooling or like a radiator or anything on your computer, most of your cooling is done through heat sinks and airflow. So you want to have the best airflow you can and also in the right direction. Heat rises, so you want the heat to go up because it already wants to. So typically the fans will blow in the front, will actually suck in, I guess. They'll suck in the front across all the components, and then it'll exhaust out the back. You can improve that by exhausting it out the top because heat, again, wants to rise. So you can have the entire thing move in from the front and out through the back and top. So it's really good for moving the air, especially if you don't have anything sitting on top of your computer. It's great for it. I physically couldn't do that because the cables on the fans weren't long enough. Fortunately, while it was in the shop, I went through all my stuff again and found the exact 2 cords I needed, which was a fan power extender and a fan LED controller extender. So when I got the computer back, I flipped the fans and ran them with an extender. And then when I rebuilt it and had to went and go plugged it in, I realized that the new motherboard only has 1 LED controller for the 5 volts, 2 for 12 volt, but I don't have any 5 volt RGB stuff. So I only had 1 5 pin and 2 fans that need to be plugged into the 5 So I had to rewire it yet again and now connect the 3 fans that I installed with the jumper wire into the case fans, and then use the case fan wire to plug into the motherboard as intended. Which solved the issue, because now it's already wired correctly, and I just put basically a jumper, like a what is it? Like a junction wire between them. It made it a lot easier because I only had the 1 pin. I didn't take that into account, but I guess the guy who was putting my computer together did, or well, diagnosing it, because he wouldn't. I would imagine, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, that he wouldn't have suggested that motherboard if I couldn't have plugged in my fans, you know? So I would imagine he would have figured, oh, I could just connect these to that, and then that would be that. It would have been nice if they would have wired it for me, but that's not what I paid them to do. So why go? If you go take in your car and you said, hey, fix my air conditioning, they're not going to also fix your transmission. That's fair. It would be nice, but they're not going to also do that. So I got everything wired and
charging you.
Go ahead.
Oh, not without charging you.
Oh no, not for parts, labor, and because they hate you for asking. So yeah, I got it all wired up and I booted it on and it worked. Turns out it was the motherboard. Fortunately, it wasn't also the CPU, because the motherboard, like I said, I bought the one from Marketplace for the motherboard and the CPU, but the motherboard was honestly replaceable anyway because I didn't like it. It had a shitty Wi-Fi card on it, and it had only 3.0 USBs, not the 3.2s, so they weren't like as fast as they could be. So it was good that I had to upgrade the motherboard anyway, because in a couple of years, that's probably the part he was going to need to upgrade, because it was the shittiest part, especially if you wanted like better memory, because the current computer has DDR4, and if he wants to upgrade, he's going to need to get DDR5, which is a different board altogether. So either way, he's going to need to buy a board in the future. So I set him up with one that's going to have to mitigate that for hopefully 5 years. It should be upgrade proof for about 5 years. That's where I set him up for. So the whole thing is running a Asus Republic of Gamer B550 motherboard. It has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so I didn't need to use any of the USB ports for either of those. It also has plenty of room for hard drives if he needs to upgrade his storage. It has 2 M.2 slots. So the computer that I bought from the guy had one, and I already had one, so I just put both of those in there. So his computer has 3 hard drives now. The fastest one is a terabyte, and that's what's got his motherboard on, or it got his operating system on it. The smaller one is 500 gigabytes, and that is for, I've earmarked it for, like, if he wants to back up pictures and videos and anything like that, so he doesn't have it on the main drive to fill that up. And then the SSD that's connected via SATA is another terabyte that's just for games. So it's got the slowest read and write speed, but again, he's not playing, he's not playing like Counter-Strike. He doesn't need 1 millisecond response time, so it's fine. Then he has a Ryzen 5. I don't think I think they only go in odd numbers. I don't think there is a Ryzen 6. But whatever. And it's a 3600, which is both its model number and how fast it is, which I think is a good naming system. Why add a whole bunch of numbers that don't really mean anything when you could just add the numbers that are the speed of the CPU? I think that's smart. AMD, has really shined through this entire build process, showing that when I either upgrade my computer or build another one, I'm going with AMD for the motherboard and the CPU. Probably going to stick with NVIDIA for the cards because I've had no problem with either of the NVIDIA cards I own. Literally zero. Any issue that was caused by the graphics card was because of me, not by the card. So I will stick with NVIDIA cards until the new AMD line comes out. That is partnered. I think it was OpenAI partnered with them and bought a 10% stake in AMD. So it'd be interesting to see where their AI powered computation goes, because AMD's DLSS 5 is basically AI powered, uses whatever AI algorithm or shit to help make things smoother and less jagged on pixels. And it's really, really, really good at that. So if AMD can compete with that type of shit, then good on them. And maybe personally, I will consider an AMD card again in the future. Although my first card really bit me hard, so I'm hesitant on considering an AMD card without plenty of evidence that they're comparable to a NVIDIA card. Moving on, he has my old 4070 NVIDIA card. So, like I said, it can handle everything that I ask it to do. So it'll be able to do everything he can ask it to, no problem. Period. He doesn't play what I play and doesn't ask for the frame. Like, the computer the screen he's going to have is only going to be 60 FPS. I play on 3 times that. So, I'm asking for a lot more than he is. So that card will be perfectly fine. And like I said, it's got a nice fat cooler on it. So I ran a bunch of benchmarks on it, and it seems like it runs decently fine while under load. It doesn't freeze up. It didn't have any driver crashes. No black screens or anything like that. And then I went through the long, arduous process of basically pre-installing and preloading the entire computer. So the idea is a modern console, you buy it for your kid and they get it out and they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited to go play a new game. And you buy them a collector's edition console. So it has a digital code for the game, and it's already cool. It's all in one package, and all you got to do is plug it into the TV and it's ready to go. Except, you plug it in, and now you got to do the account setup, log in. Oh, you don't have an account? Well, now you're going to have to set up an account real quick. Okay, cool. Now that you did that, your console is going to have to update. Cool. Now that you've updated your console, you're going to need to go to the store and redeem your code. And now that you've redeemed your code, you're going to have to wait for your game to install. Cool. You installed your game. Awesome. Launch your game. Oh, guess what? There was a day one patch. So you install that first. And also there was a DLC patch because this game's old. And now you have about a 10 gigabyte patch on top of the install. So enjoy about 7.5 hours of installing on Christmas. I didn't want any of that. I wanted it to come out of the box, him plug it in, and it already have his account on there, already have his games, already have the games installed, downloaded, patched. I couldn't get into his Roblox and his Minecraft account, so he's going to have to do that himself, or going to have to buy Minecraft on his Microsoft account, because I don't know what account it's on. It's not my business. I don't know. I wanted those to be ready to go, but because of account shit, they're not. But I installed Steam, Epic, Xbox. I threw as many free games as I could find on there that he would be interested in. So Fortnite, Fall Guys. I downloaded Vegas Infinite in case he wants to maybe play that ever. I installed a handful of stuff, and I also gave him 1 or 2 games that I have the raw files for on my computer. And all of those are now installed and also have done the like first time setup for all of those games. So as long as a patch doesn't come out between now and Christmas, all of those games are ready to launch immediately. Including like I put Warframe on there, Guild Wars, stuff that I play, and if he wants to play something with me, I can suggest a game that he's never played and he could maybe get into, just options. And worst comes to worst, you can just delete them off the computer. It's really easy to do. On top of that, I customized all of the settings on Windows and also on the hardware settings. So all of the RGB matches, all of it's got a nice like pattern to it. I downloaded Opera GX, which is the gamer version of Opera browser. And I went through the there's like a community tab on it, and in the community tab you can download like visual mods. So you can download like when you open a new tab and it goes to like the new tab screen where it shows you your pin tabs and also like news and stuff like that or whatever. On Opera GX, it's called Speed Dial. So you can put like a dynamic background on there. You can also put sounds, like change the colors on it. There's so much like customization to the visuals on it. And also it's a decent browser because it has hard limiters on it that you can turn on so that even while you're gaming, your browser can't eat a certain amount of resources. Like you can limit it to never use more than 10% of your CPU. So like if you have a bunch of intensive stuff going on, you can still run your browser pretty effectively. So I chose that, and as a backup, if he doesn't like that browser, I also just installed Google Chrome with no add-ons, no nothing, no bells, no whistles, just Google Chrome. There you go. If you want it, there it goes. You should use GX because it's a good browser, but if you don't want to, who cares? There's another one there for you. The Opera GX also is cool because it interfaces with the RGB controller software. So when he opens it, it changes the RGBs on the computer to make them brighter, and instead of being like a flickery, glitchy type that I made them, they're a lot more steady, so he can be like more focused while doing that. Or whatever, because I couldn't do the animation. That's not what I chose, but that's just when he opens Opera, if that setting is on, it stops the light animations, softens the color, and brightens the lighting. Which is fine. It looks basically the same. You'd have to be looking directly at it to really notice it changed. But I notice. And then on top of that, the Republic of Gamer, ROG software, has a live wallpaper functionality built into it. And a live wallpaper is basically just a wallpaper that moves or like has like, imagine like a picture of a city, and then it's like a small video where the cars are moving and lights are turning on and off and the stars are twinkling and stuff like that, but it's looped perfectly for a long time. And that's basically what a live wallpaper is. It's just a long video GIF type thing with no sound.
They're animated. It's animated.
Well, some of them are animated, but some of them are literally video files that just don't have sound.
Oh, that's true.
So, like,
yeah, that's true.
A live wallpaper can be a lot of different things, but it is a non-still image of whatever. And the software has a couple of those built in, and anything on it that has like RGB on the picture can be interfaced with the software. So I picked the wallpaper of like a cool gamer den where there's like a workshop bench where somebody's building computers over there, and then like a bat cave style computer where there's like 8 monitors, and then another little table with a laptop and phone on it. So it's basically just like a like this room that I'm in, basically, type shit. And any RGB that's in the picture, so like the guy's desk, the lights in the room, the RGB controller of the computer will change dynamically the wallpaper RGB. And it is really cool because now the entire wallpaper is color animated, even though it's a static image. You can. There was one that was a live wallpaper and color chromable, but I didn't want that much moving shit. You know, I was like, just the color's fine. On the desktop, I moved icons around. So like I said, it's like a room with a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of shortcuts. So one that opens pictures, one that opens videos, one that opens my files, one that opens the game folder. And I customized the icons. So the one that opens my documents is a keyboard, and it's sitting on the desktop where the keyboard is on the image. So you would double click on the keyboard on the image to open your documents. If he wants to change all that, he can. Cool, great. But I wanted him to open it up and be like, hey, this is what kind of customization and shit you can do. You like it? Go do more. You don't like it? Turn it off. Real easy. But like I said, I wanted it to because if he wanted to do all of that himself, that would take days. Because trust me, I've spent days doing it. So it wouldn't be, in my opinion, a great Christmas gift to give him a machine that's like, okay, cool, now go do a bunch of work on it. So I wanted everything preloaded, pre-installed, ready to go. All he has to do is turn it on, plug it into the monitor, and then ask me what the pin is.
Oh, what is the pin? No, I'm kidding.
It's Christmas, 12/25. So you can change it after that. I set him up with the Steam account and everything like that because he didn't have it, but I had his Microsoft account, so now he has all of those accounts. It's all manageable straight from his computer now. Over the next I'm gonna try to be done with this all by Saturday morning. So I guess up until Friday night, I'm gonna do a little bit more benchmark testing on it and do like a little bit of recordings and see how it looks and sounds. I bought him peripherals for the computer because I didn't want to just give him a computer with no keyboard, no mouse, whatever. Because I don't know. I would assume he might have a mouse, but he probably doesn't have a keyboard because he uses a laptop, and those have one built in. He might not have a mouse pad, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a good pair of headphones and a microphone. So I bought him basically this pair of headphones that I'm wearing, but the wired, non-wireless Bluetooth software-powered ones. They're just powered all by the 3.5 millimeter wire. And the 3.5 has a splitter on it, so it can plug into the speaker and the microphone. I plugged in all of those things and set up the software for it. I bought him a SteelSeries keyboard and mouse because I like SteelSeries and I stand by them. And I'm not gonna get him I'm not gonna get him a shitty Lenovo or Logitech thing if I don't like those things, So I think SteelSeries is great and has a lot of their software is the big thing. Their software is fucking fantastic. So I plugged in all of those, set up the RGB, made sure they were all set up and ready to go whenever he plugs them in out of the box. And then I went in, plugged in the headphones as well, and that was the audio part. The audio part's always fucking tricky, especially with Windows, especially if you want to be able to listen to stuff and broadcast at the same time. So I used SteelSeries software, which is called Sonar, to basically make an internal mixer for him. So his headphones get all the sounds, and he can also, if he's on Discord or in-game, he can change the game chat volume because the SteelSeries has 2 channels for that. And also, his microphone is already plugged in and working, and Windows recognizes it, and it sounds fine as long as you don't breathe into it. Problem with any headphone mic. And on top of all of that, I installed and preloaded OBS for him and already synced his OBS to his YouTube account so he can stream from it. He has to do all the customizing and everything like that, but it's already ready to go. It has the encoder settings and everything like that. Most importantly, again, it has audio. So the OBS audio is already set up. And because I was already on a roll, I slapped in voice mod. So he has a voice modulator software and a soundboard software built into it. He will need to learn how to use that because that's got a skill, like a skill curve to it. But it's already installed, ready to go. The account's activated, and it's already incorporated into the audio line. So on top of loading all his shit for him, I set up his audio. So, you're welcome.
Ready to go out of the box.
Yes, exactly that. The only thing that, like, I mean, I think I'll have to double check. I'm gonna try to put the machine in hibernate instead of shutting it down, so that when it turns on, it's already on. Because when booting up, the RGB controller software hasn't booted on, so all the RGB is on its default, which is like rainbow pattern, which is fine, but that's not what I customized it for. He likes purple, so I customized it to like a purple glitchy, like more of a reddish blue. I know that's what purple is, but like it's not like a blurple and it's not like a magenta or a violet. It's more just like a reddish blue purple. It was a nice, very middle of the road because I don't know what purple he likes. If anyone's been watching my stream, you can tell that I like this purple, which is a very dark, like blurple, royal purple. That's the purple I like. I don't know if he also likes that purple, but it's easy to just change it to the darker one. And either way, the only reason I would want to maybe put it in hibernate is so it doesn't go through that 5 or 6 seconds of rainbow before the purple kicks on. I want him to hit the power button and purple, you know? So I'll have to test that. Before I wrap it up and put it in the box, I'm going to put it in hibernate, unplug the thing, and set it to the side for like 12 hours, and then plug it back in and turn it on, which it should work because the way hibernate works is it stores everything in the hard drive, not in RAM, which means it doesn't need to be powered to store the boot instructions. So, hibernate should work for it. That pretty much wraps up the computer segment, which is the longest part. This is like the whole episode, basically. I'm still going to go because I do have more to talk about, but because I missed last week and because it's been consuming so much of my time, I basically just talked for an hour and a half about building 2 computers. So I hope I bored everybody.
That was exactly what you did all week, though, and it was a lot of work because you talked to me for most of the time that you were doing it, and what you just went through is what I used to do for a living, and I can tell you right now, it doesn't get any easier. Like every other time that you tried to do something like this is what it's going to be. Okay, I gotta upgrade the RAM. And you do that, but then something else is just not working right, and then you got to go back to the store and figure it out. So, it's not uncommon that you would spend that much time talking about something you just spent 2 weeks doing, and like you said, batteries not included was what it was for me as a kid. You don't want to,
yeah.
You get a nice new toy and you want to play with it, but now you got to wait till the next day. In that case, to go to the store to get 4-pack of AA batteries because your keyboard don't work.
Right, because the keyboard didn't come with it, or your parents didn't buy you a pack of it on top of it because they're like, I mean, that was $8 on top of the keyboard I just bought. Nah.
Or not paying attention because they used to be like a fine print thing either, like little asterisks way in the bottom corner.
Yeah, batteries
times
not included.
Changing, but like you said, it's day 1 patch now. That kind of thing, and like setting up your account.
Yeah, that's all the fucking boring shit that like really sucks the enjoyment out of a brand new gift, because even if you're still excited and you're like, wow, this is cool, it's just like, okay, now check the email, refresh. Okay, there's the 6-digit code. Cool, copy and paste. All right, cool, now I'm in. All right, now I can download that thing. Cool. Now I'm waiting some more. Yeah, so I'm not going to harp on it more, but that I know that feeling, and I didn't want that feeling to be associated at all with this gift.
Good job.
So, moving a little bit to the internet stuff and the Dabbleverse. If anyone doesn't already know, Hackamania is coming up. We're promoting it nice and early, of course. People are saying it's 7 months early, but I don't think they can math. I mean, even if you include last month, I don't think that's. I mean, maybe kind of. I mean, but dates. I mean, they weren't promoting at the beginning of October, so I don't know. I mean, they kind of were, but not really promoting. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
If you didn't even go live until.
If you're salty that they're promoting Hackamania, I think it's because you're not going.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. Even when I wasn't going, not this time, but like the last 2 times, I didn't really insult it because I saw it's the same argument. Oh, these people are going to see these pseudo celebrities, and it's not even about that. I could care less. Well, not I would like to, but it isn't about trying to meet Melton or Carl or any of these guys. I'm there to see you. I'm there to see. Apparently, Quadfather might be there, so that would be neat.
Yeah, he was supposed to be there last year and fight Tukey, but he didn't.
It's rescheduled for this year. There may be an Indian leg wrestling match. I will be representing Quad as his manager, I suppose.
I still think that Quad has an advantage because Tukey doesn't have legs and Quad does have legs. He just can't really use them.
Oh, good point. I'm going to have to bring that up. We're going to have to see what the Vegas odds are paying out that
Tukey does have arms. He just doesn't have legs. That he does not.
Quad still has his arms. His hands don't work so great, but the arms are fine. But it's about, but that's what I mean. It's like about hanging out with you guys. But you showed me pictures from last year and it was exactly, I want to sit down and hang out, and there's plenty of people that are in the community that I like. So it should be a fun time.
Speaking of people in the community, people that are in my circle, I suppose, I want to get together a group chat of people that are 100% confirmed. So me and you, obviously. Cy Chris, aka Skinny Chad Zumach, he is 100% confirmed. Everything is set up, so I want to add him. Grum TV or Grummus or I don't want to give out his real name, but he's coming. He came to DabbleCon 2 all the way from Vancouver. I think he's from Vancouver. So he's from all the way on the other side of Canada. Not from like the Cardiff side, where it's like close to Rochester. He's on the east coast of it. So he's way over there in BC. And he's going to come down for that. Then Pony Power 2 is confirmed. He also was there at DabbleCon 2, and he was also my 1/3 of my sponsor to go to Vegas, or not to Vegas, sorry. 1/3 of my sponsor to go to Boston, as well as Skinny Chad. And then the third one, who's all but confirmed, is Mondays Weekly. He's got to get his real ID and also on a plane. He's got a fear of flights. He knows it's conquerable and that it's stupid to miss out because he doesn't want to get on a plane, so he's going to do it. He just hasn't 100% committed and purchased it yet, as far as I know. So he's a all but yes at the moment. And then as well as I have not heard from him myself, but Purple Monkey Dishwasher is supposed to be coming. The guy who has recorded multiple of John and Chad's stand-up shows. He stayed with me at DabbleCon 2 as well. So many of the people that I have already seen at these shows are coming and staying again, which is great that I get to hang out with them again. Echo Pineapple is confirmed, as well as Rochi. So we have the British guys coming in as well. So we have 3 out-of-country people from 2 different countries and 2 different continents in this group that I'm talking about.
I'm pretty sure Husey is going to be there. That's the rumor on the street. I don't know if he's announced it super publicly, but he DM'd me and asked me if I was going, and I said yeah. And
I need to reach out to him.
We are going to get gay married at an Elvis chapel, and then we can commit immigration and fraud, and then insurance fraud later because he might have insurance.
There's also rumors of Dean from United States of Australia. He's supposedly coming. So in the little bit of closer like content creator like D-list Dabbleverse people, I want to get together a group chat with all of these people. The problem is, I think the only thing we all use is Twitter. I mean, I guess it's not impossible to do a Twitter one, but I would use Discord, but Discord has a DM group limit of 10. That's been a feature for many years that people complain about, that you can't have like group chats bigger than 10. You could just make a server real easy, but a server isn't the exact same as a group chat, you know?
No. Hold on real quick, because you mentioned about getting a thing. I just wanted to let you know kind of in private that I got one more thing ready. You can see it down here on my little screen.
Hold on, let me click on that
thing. It looks
thing.
exactly like the one.
Ooh, you finally got it?
Yes.
Fantastic.
So that came today. And so I should have my real ID on Friday.
Fantastic. I think Mondays has to get his as well. I'm trying to convince the Monday's friend, which is not associated with the Dabbleverse at all, to come as well. Because her and I are friends, and she's friends with Mondays. So she wouldn't be like entirely fish out of water. It wouldn't be like going nobody. But it would be nice to meet her because I've never met her before. And it would be interesting to get her sort of like Steph Renee, where she kind of knows about it, but didn't really experience it until like, boom, Vegas, like live in person, type, So I think it's quite exciting to have more women in the circle, because it's a joke in the community, but not really a joke, that there aren't any women, and it would be nice to have a bit more. Anyway, that's pretty much all of the people that I know that are 100%. Like, I know Megan's going, but I've never met, or I mean, I did meet her, but I don't remember meeting and talking with her at Hackmania this year. And obviously I'm on the show with her on WATP, but our relationship is a lot different than the first Hackmania, so I am way more excited to meet and hang out with Megan coming up for Hackmania 3, because I know Megan now.
Yeah, I mean, of course, now you guys have a little bit of rapport, as it were, if you will.
Is there anyone that you don't know that you are excited to meet?
I don't know. Not off the top of my head. I'm not all sure who's going. I think Cardiff's kids might be there, and I'd be excited to meet her.
She was there last year, yeah. I would assume she's going to come. I'm looking forward to hearing from Leah or Lee. I can't remember if it's Leah or Lee. She was the door girl at Hackmania 1 and Hackmania 2. And she's very nice. I reached out to her on Discord. I'm hoping to hear back from her. Melton said something about giving, the job to somebody else that, wouldn't have to travel as much or whatever. And she's like, no, that's my job. I'll travel all the way from blank and come back to Vegas just to do, no. And plus, I get to see, my people. So, I hope to see her there. I'm excited to see Lady KB again. Sketty if she's there. A lot more of the Onion people,
Sketty
because I know the Onion people, but I don't really interact with them as much because they're kind of isolated to the Onion side of stuff, and I don't really like DM with them that much.
Understandable. Yeah, Sketty and Chip I would like to meet them. Tiff with 3Fs might be there. So we'll see. She always buys a ticket and then like can't make it.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah. It's a long list. I'm just happy to like.
I'm really
One, I'm
disappointed
gonna be
Dylan's
west
not
of the
coming. I
Mississippi.
know he can't really, but you know, just it's a shame.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the one person that should be going that couldn't. And for the same reason that I wouldn't be going, you know, if it weren't for you.
Yeah, if I could have afforded to do both of you, I would have. What? Disavow.
I'm gonna clip that.
That is the big like Dabbleverse stuff. Other than what I just saw today on WATP is John's doing filters now. He was an egg and it looked horrible.
That was real. Yeah.
So I'm waiting and praying and hoping that the Great Magnet makes John live stream as a banana, and then truly the bridge between John and Maddox have collapsed and fused into one, because then we will have stuttering banana, and Banana Docs was the greatest thing that Maddox ever did. And if John goes into filter mode, I might actually watch John. Because then I won't have to look at him. And that's a reason I really can't stand him.
That's part of it.
It's just fucking his smug fucking facial expressions and shit. And if he's a stupid egg or whatever he decides to be, it's at least tolerable and silly and stupid. You will get the opportunity to meet Cardiff at Hackamania 3, and you will see why he used the filter. That man is fucking disgusting. Sorry, Cardiff. You know it's true. I love you.
I've spoken to him on panel once, and we got along pretty well, and he was mistaken. I was mistaken for him. I think I told you Pat Dixon was lazy and didn't change the title. It said Pat Dixon Show with Cardiff Electric, but it was me. I was like, hey, that's not me.
That's funny.
Which I should have played it up and tried to do his voice like and talk like he does and pretend like I was him without the filter and be like, oh shit, I forgot. Nobody would have bought it because, you know, a lot of people already know what my dumb face looks like.
Ooh, talking of potatoes, I bought some to cook, and I went to go cut them, and my knife is so goddamn dull that I keep cutting them, and the thing like keeps like slipping from underneath the knife and like falling off the counter, and like I keep losing chunks of food because I have a dull, shitty knife, and that's obviously unsafe and also wasteful. So I was at Walmart and I wanted to see if they had like a sharpening stone, because I have a decent knife. It's just dull. I just need a way to sharpen it. Didn't find one. Didn't feel like going to the hardware store. So I went over and just bought a new Cuisinart knife, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is a good knife. I like the brand. Seems sturdy, well made. It's heavy, dense. It just had like a little plastic sleeve thing. And the knife right next to it was less nice, but it had one of those, like, built-in sharpeners in the sheath. So I was like, fuck. I want that sheath and I want this knife. I'll just buy both. So I bought both, and now I have 2 knives. I have a backup knife, and now I have a nice Cuisinart knife with a sheath that is going to try to keep the edge fine. So, that's nice. And because it was only a couple dollars extra, I also got a paring knife for it. And again, while I was standing right there, I'm like, man, my other big problem is my fucking cutting area is so goddamn tiny. I have a cutting board about this big. So, I just bought a nice slab cutting board, and now it's on my... It's a dresser, but it's sitting in there as like a storage container. So it's sitting on the dresser now as like a countertop prep area. And with the knives, I am no longer struggling to fucking cut potatoes in my kitchen, which is something I shouldn't be doing at 30 years old.
No, I'm surprised you had... I'm not extremely kitchen, but I do like having a lot of my stuff in there. You know, different spatulas, knives, and scoops, and serrated knife, big long one. I think I told you that's what I was doing post IT. It was pretty much just pastry chefing and catering and stuff like that. So lots of recipes floating around in the back of my head.
I have 2 more what I've been up to other, and then I'm going to get on to what I'm going to be up to, and then we're going to get out of here. So, over the last month and a half, anyone that's really been following in my streams, and when I've been streaming and on people's streams, my internet has been really fucking shitty lately. And that should not be the case because I pay for the maximum package for that Spectrum offers, the highest price and the highest speed. I have a gig up and a gig down. My speed on paper should be fucking ludicrous, and most of the time it is. I just have a awful connectivity, and I have tested every part of my system. I've tested my computer. I've tested the drivers, I've tested the hardware, I've tested the cable, I've tested my LAN splitter, I've tested the cable from that, I've tested the router, I've tested the fucking, the modem. All of them are fine. And yet somehow I just lose connection randomly for no reason. So, it kind of came to a head when Spectrum suddenly just started disconnecting me entirely with, there's a service outage reported in your area. Click here to view details. And then I'd view details, and then it would tell me that there is a scheduled maintenance. And then I would double check my emails and my text messages, and there would be no notification that there's any sort of scheduled email or scheduled maintenance. Then I would get on the live chat with them and be like, hey, when is this going to end? And they'll be like, well, we don't know. Well, if it's scheduled, then you should have a fucking start time and an end time. Can you tell me when the next scheduled maintenance is going to be? I'm sorry, we don't know. Then it's not scheduled. Don't tell me that it's fucking scheduled if you refuse to give me any form of schedule on the schedule. And as a paying customer, I think I should know when I'm no longer going to have service coverage. I think that is the standard for paying for a service, is to know when you're not going to be able to have that service. Maybe I don't know consumer laws, and I don't, but goddamn, I would think that would be the bare minimum for paying for a fucking service. So, the things kept going down, and they kept going down, and they kept going down, and just randomly in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, the perfect weather, no, shit would just be turning off. Sunday? Yeah, it was Sunday morning. I'm listening to the Blind Mike Project, and, I want to smoke, and it's a decent morning, so I take my little vape, and I go sit out on the front porch to smoke, and I see the Spectrum guy sitting right there at my fucking post. The post, like, right, it's about 45 feet from my door, and, hold on, what is this? Oh, I know what this is. Hold on. There it is. Okay. So I see him working on it, and I noticed my internet's out. I'm like, huh. This guy must be the guy that's doing fucking scheduled maintenance. Again, didn't get any notification, even though he's coming to my goddamn node. Still don't get any notification that, you know, they're coming to disconnect my house from the fucking street. But he goes up there, he disconnects it, and switch to Wi-Fi, keep watching Blind Mike, and he finally finishes his thing, and he goes down, and the Wi-Fi disconnects again, the Wi-Fi disconnects again, the Wi-Fi disconnects again, as he finishes the block. So I went to work, and I came back, and since then, I have had very stable internet, and I've been getting the speeds I've been paying for. Maybe they were actually doing scheduled maintenance and actually repairing shit and actually making it better. I'm gonna fucking hope, because otherwise, the next time the fucking Spectrum guy comes to my house, I'm gonna scream at him. I'm gonna be like, get me somebody that I can scream at besides you, because I know it's not your fault. Please. I'm carrying right now.
Not the guy in the truck you're mad at.
Yeah, I know it's not. I know you didn't do this on purpose. You didn't wake up this morning saying, I'm going to fuck Annie over. That was not your goal, okay? But somebody has the screaming coming on.
Part of it is these cables that are here in the Midwest are fucking ancient, and it's expensive to run cable. And so I think Spectrum is doing the bare minimum to keep it going without, oh, we're polluting down fiber optic. Yeah, that's great, but that's not what's coming to my, that's not a fiber optic cable from the phone line, you know, the telephone pole to my house. That's still coax. And that's what's failing, I think, in a lot of places, is those junction boxes where the coaxes are coming out of and running to our house. And so it's like, I think they're trying to maintain those. And like you said, though, my internet will go out and I'll get an email an hour and a half later. Oh, we're experiencing outages in your area. I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit. You know, I've been sitting here in the dark. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean? Like, and then, you know, 6 hours goes by and then it's back on. So it really stinks here sometimes. Spectrum is garbage. I wish there was something else.
My parents have the other alternative nearby here, which is T-Mobile's 5G internet. However, I was at their house the other day, and I heard him complaining, him being my stepdad, complaining that the internet was giving an issue or something like that. So I need to take my own equipment over there and perform a speed test diagnostic and a network stability test on there and see what is actually being pumped to the houses to see if it is worth it. Because I don't need gigabit speed, you know. I'll settle for 500, you know. 500's fine. But I don't want instability on it. When Spectrum works, it works great. And that's why I pay for the max package for it, because it works great when it does. I have tons of games downloaded, and I like to download just random stuff all the time, and it's sometimes 7, 8, 10, 128 gigabytes, and it's really nice to be able to download that shit in less than an hour. Really nice. And then when I'm streaming, I can get a really high bit rate out so people can see my 1440 stream and like stuff like that. So when it works, it's great. That's the problem. When things don't work, they're a nightmare to deal with. And the other nightmare that has been on a fucking constant with me is my car. My car, I tweeted out, it was a sort of joke tweet, but it was dead serious as well, that so I'll just start at the beginning. I have a 2008 Volkswagen Jetta. I don't know if it has any, like, I don't know if it's like a sub model or anything like that, but I have a 2008 Volkswagen Jetta. And that year, or I think the 2006 to the 2008, I think it might have also done the 2009. I haven't done that much research on it, but those gap of years have a malfunctionable piece inside your steering column, which is when you stick your key in there, and then you like turn it, it'll like lock your key in there, so you can't just take your key out, or like, you know, people can't just take your key while your car's running. That little like locking mechanism in there is also attached to the thing that allows your key to turn to the intermediate section, which turns on your radio and your AC and stuff like that. Not at like full power and everything because your engine's not running, but it turns all that on. And then the second one, which is actually turns the starter over and turns the car on. That mechanism can fail. Not the actual ignition. That thing works. The mechanism to turn the key and release the key and detect which position it's in can completely fail, which it has. I noticed that the second that I took the car over, that there was like a weird ignition issue, that like sometimes the key would like not want to come out, and then I would have to like turn the wheel, and then the key would come out, and like it would seem like it was like in a position of like maybe a gear was like misnotched or something like that. But it got worse and worse and worse. And then it was fine. And then it was perfectly fine for months. And then suddenly it just like the key got locked and I couldn't get the key out. So the car was just sitting there running. So, I pulled into work and I already had to go to work. So I went into work, called my stepdad and told him about it. And then he came and fiddled around with it and got the car to turn off and got the key out. And then, you know, that was it for that instance. Then I got the key back in there and I got it to work a couple of more times until the same thing happened, where the key got locked in it and I couldn't get it out, and then I let it in there for a little bit, and then I came back out and I jiggled it and I got it out of the thing. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, that's really annoying. Now I can't get it back in. I can't get back in the fucking ignition. So now my car is a paperweight. I cannot start my car because the key can't go in there. The ignition works, the engine works, the only thing that like doesn't work on the car is the AC, and I don't know if that's because it's that or Freon. I don't know what part of it. The heat works. Everything works on the car. I just literally can't get the key in there to turn it. So I basically just have a 2-ton paperweight sitting in my backyard.
Have you tried cracking the steering column open?
I've done a lot of. Anyway, I've tried some things to it and whatever, and then I just left it there. I was walking to work, and then it got really fucking cold. And then I was like, you know what? I really would like this to just work. So I like was praying like out loud to the car. But could you please just fucking work? You know, like you had your time resting. I gave you like a week and a half or 2 weeks, so you're just sitting here. You know, you're just relaxing. Can we please just, can I turn the car on again? So I went out there and I couldn't get the key in, and I was hurting my hand. So I went inside and I got my glove. Like I've real nice, genuine leather gloves. So I got my glove, and I also got a pair of vice grips, my small ones, and clamped that onto the key, so I had maximum grip onto the key, and then as much leverage as I could get onto the vice grips, and then just repeatedly, like I key fucked the thing. Like, it's as much as I jammed and fucking jam, twist. I'm fucking spinning the wheel around, jiggling the fucking ignition and the gear shifter. I'm holding the brake, not the brake. I'm doing like every combination of thing I could do, and the key slips in, and I get it to like turn just a little bit, like more than it's been, and I hear the fan kick on, like for the air, even though it doesn't blow air.
Electric.
I just hear the fan kick on. I'm like, holy shit. And then I turn it all the way and the car turns on. I'm like, okay, sweet. I left it running and I went inside and I sat down for a little bit. I'm like, okay, I need to run some errands. So I'm going to use this fucking opportunity to get this fucking I'm gonna go run some errands. So I ran my errands. I went to the gas station and I filled up just a little bit with the car running, which I don't like doing and you're not supposed to do. Most cars is not an issue, and you know, as long as you're not literally exposing the fuel and the air directly to a flame, it's usually fine. But still, you shouldn't do that. But I put some gas in it while I was running, and that was the next day. Sorry, jumping ahead. So I finished my errands and I went home, and I was like, I don't know what to do now. I cannot get this key out, and I don't have like a button to turn off the car. You know, okay. So I opened the hood and even though, especially on newer cars, really don't want to do this, disconnected the battery while the thing was running. So it no longer has battery power, but it is on cyclical power because of the alternator. So the whole thing becomes instantly unstable as the lights are flickering and stuff, and it doesn't have the stable power of a battery anymore. It's just running off on cycle power. And I'm like, okay, and I start like cranking the engine, trying to like drain enough power to kill it, and nothing. I'm like, pfft.
Yeah, it's running from the alternator now.
That
should be possible.
It is, but it will eventually die if it runs enough of a drain and can't generate enough power, especially if you're going at high speeds and stuff like that. But I didn't want to just drive around until the car died and then be not home. So I was like, I don't know, dude. This is too much fucking stress. I'm going inside to play Grounded. And then I came inside and I streamed Grounded with you for a couple of hours. And I was really, really, really hoping the car would be dead. And then I went to go to bed, and I see the fucking headlights still on, bright as fuck. And I'm like, okay. So I went and smoked a little bit more, and then I got my clothes on and went outside, and I was like, okay, I guess I need to figure something out right now, because I shouldn't just leave this thing running all night. So, especially with the battery disconnected. Shouldn't just leave it running all night. So I Googled my exact issue and everything like that, and I saw the videos I had looked up before, but I seen a new one that didn't see before, and the guy was like, hey, you know, if this is the issue that you're running into, whatever, obviously it's a problem. You don't want your car running all night. So what you need to do is you need to force it to die. So just pop your fuse panel here. And I'm like, of course, it's going to be the fuse panel, but I mean, whatever. Like, I don't have the schematic for the thing, and when I looked it up before, I could only find the 2006, not the 2008, and I don't know if it's the same schematic, and I'm not trying to fucking blow something by pulling fuses. Or short it, because there's already electrical issues inside the car as it is, and I don't want to cause any more. But, like, literally in the first, like, 45 seconds, the guy pops it open, and he says, you want to put your finger right on this thing, and you just go and pull that out, and your car should immediately turn off. Maybe like a half a turn, 2 turns, and it's over. And then he went on to say some more things, and I was like, I don't care. I don't care whatever else you have to say in here. It is fucking 3 a.m. I don't give a fuck. I pulled the fuse, the car died, and the battery was already disconnected and everything, so everything just shut off. I'm like, fantastic. Shut the door, and I went to bed. And I went out there in the morning, and I'm like, okay, now I need to do something about this. Again, try to get the key out, and I'm like, why bother? At least the key is in there. The key in there is a lot better than the key not in there. So I now can reverse the process. I can reconnect the battery. So now the system now has power because it wasn't being drained from the battery, so it should still have battery in it, as long as it doesn't get drained from the cold or the weather or anything like that. So I reconnect the battery, re-put in the fuse, and because it's already in the intermediate position where the electric's running, it's already powered, and I just turn it and turn the engine over. So now I have a working car. I have a patch on this fucking broken ass thing where when I want the car to stop now, I pull the fuse out, pop the hood, go there, and take the ground off of the battery so there's no circuit, so it can't drain. And then whenever I want to get back in there, I open the door, pop the hood, reconnect the ground, put the fuse back in there, turn the thing over. What a fucking nightmare. But hey, I have a working car. So,
I mean,
beggars
yeah.
cannot be choosers, and the car was given to me. So, thank you. Thank you for the car. Thank you for the car still working. Thank you for everything. I'm guessing my trials and tribulation is because I've not built up enough good karma in the rest of my life, and this is a way that my wall of goodness can still get fucked with my car exploding constantly. So, my last car was stolen. So,
Yeah, and
I do not have a good record with cars, apparently.
My ex-sister-in-law-ish, it was terrible with cars, except in a different way. She got hit a lot. Like 3 times in 5 years, totaled a car because of somebody else. High risk for no reason other than bad luck.
It all stinks. But that's really the big negative in my life currently is the car problem. But until my patch stops working, I currently have still a working car, so we'll deal with it as we can. When the weather's fine, I'll walk instead of turning it on and off and putting any extra cycles on it that it doesn't need to. But for the moment, it's really helpful because the last 2 times I went to Micro Center, I was able to just take my own car and just go. Really nice. So that's everything I've been up to. And why last week I really didn't stream. I've been dealing with a lot of positive and negative shits in my life. What I've going forward doing, is I'm going to finish up start and finish my second playthrough of Undertale. Our playthrough together is taking longer than I would have anticipated, but it's mostly because it's mostly because my real life has been really busy and I haven't been playing it myself enough to push you into playing it, and you've also been doing other things, and as we discussed offline, it's not enticing you the exact same way as other games that I've suggested for the show, even though you are enjoying it. So it's not something that you're like, okay, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go play 4 more hours of this, like as soon as I get up type thing. It's not that kind of game.
I am at a point now, though, that I'm back into it more. I don't want to give away too much because we are going to talk about it, but it was that forced close every time I was losing that one fight. And yeah. I'm like, dude, I just want to fucking keep playing. Like, well, you didn't have to build this part in. You could just give me the quick start, please. You know, I'm like,
once or twice it's fine, but then yeah, stop the gimmick. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we could just leave that there. But because I do, I think that episode's going to be pretty good because of that. I creatively speaking and artistically speaking, there's a lot more for me to say than the parts that like I know I'm not good at because I'm not good at those types of games and little things like that. But there are some creative choices like that that are more trouble than they're worth at a certain point. But I'm somewhere where I was going to talk to you about because I still think I'm on my first playthrough. I don't want to give away too much but it is the end of the show, so I guess I'm in the True Lab.
Okay.
At the very end, so I think that's still part of the first playthrough.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to talk about it a little bit more, because otherwise we'll get into a whole Undertale segment. And I just wanted to briefly touch on that I want to start my second playthrough and encourage you to do the second playthrough so you can get the true ending. And we also have started Grounded. Anyone watching should go check out my channel. Both episode 15 and 16 of Grounded are up, and it's with Snake, and I have a fancy new layout, which shows both of our cameras at the same time, both of our gameplay. When my system's not overloaded, it runs really smooth. The audio looks good. I think you should check it out. It's cool to watch both of our perspectives at the same time, since it's a cooperative game, and we're both kind of doing the same thing. I play in first person, he plays in third person, so not only are you seeing two different perspectives, you're seeing two different angles, so it's pretty cool. I like it. You should definitely check it out. We might stream it tonight, not sure. I mean, the night's still a little young, but I definitely want to hop off here and eat. The other things that I have coming up, I've kind of just dropped because, like I said, the mornings I am going to finalize the rest of my brother's computer build and then write a new schedule for the end of November and going into December. Because when December starts, I'm going to be doing Christmas movies. So I'm going to see if there's a way I can stream Christmas movies. We'll see. Probably do it on Rumble or something like that.
Not a bad idea. And don't forget about the book.
Ah, yes,
Tomorrow
absolutely.
At 12:30.
Ah, okay. Well, then I will not be able to game tonight because I have to do laundry as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go do laundry.
Oh, shit, I got to do laundry.
I'm going to go do laundry, and while I'm doing laundry, I'm going to listen to whatever chapters I can, because it's usually about 30, 40 minutes for the wash, and then about 50 minutes for the dry, because I like my stuff nice and hot and warm and dry. So I can probably get most of the book in. So anyone that's listening to this, check out Spurksnake's channel tomorrow. We're going to be doing the newest episodes of ALLLLLLIVEEE and audiobooks. And this time we'll make sure we have the chapters listed so anyone joining will know what chapters we're talking about.
Yes. And it is about 2 hours for these next 3 chapters. This next one, the first one is an hour, but the next 2 are a half an hour. So they're easier to digest. So if you can get through the first big chunk tonight, you'll be fine to get through the next 2 in the morning, I think.
All right. Pulling up a couple more chats before we get out of here. Cashapp saying, I listened to Creepcast, Cover Spire in the Woods. That one was a really good one. I like Creepcast. I recommend anyone who wants something that has nothing to do with the Dabbleverse to go check out Creepcast. They do like creepypasta readings and like horror stories and like stuff like that. Stuff that is like unfiction, stuff that is actual fiction. It's a really interesting channel. I really like their take on it. The hosts are good. They have a great dynamic. So everyone should go check that out. It's a great recommendation for me. And closing the show, I would like to promote Spurksnake. I appreciate you hopping on late in the night and joining us. Why don't you tell people what you're doing next and where they're going to find you?
Well, tomorrow at 12:30, it's going to be the book show, ALLLLLIVEEE and audiobooks, and me on Monday, game showing at 11. But this next upcoming Tuesday, I'm going to be it's another watch along with Dylan, but I think we're watching the Angry Video Game Nerd, the movie that he put out, and it is, I haven't seen it, but everybody that has and knows James Rolfe has said that it is not good, like really not good. But better attempts that other YouTubers have had at making films, so we shall see.
All right, and thank you everyone else for joining. I'm gonna steal Dylan's thing. Feel free to go away.
Yup, that tasted purple. Yup, 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 yup. That tasted purple.